Did you know that there are 2 separate sites in the United States that preserve dozens of mammoth skeletons all together in one place? The first one was discovered in 1974 in Hot Springs, South Dakota, and the second one just 4 years later in Waco, Texas. Both sites had in-place museums built over them so they could preserve some of these skeletons in place for people from all over the world to come see. So why do we need to preserve both of these mammoth sites if they're so similar? And how can researchers at these sites look backward through time to understand these magnificent extinct animals? To discover the secret lives of mammoths, let's ask experts from both sites to tell us what makes their mammoth site special. The mammoth site of Hot Springs, South Dakota preserves a sinkhole which entrapped 58 young adult Columbian mammoths and 3 woolly mammoths during the last ice age. As far as researchers can tell, all of these young mammoths were males.
So we can actually determine the sex of a mammoth by looking at their modern analog in elephants. And so what we do is we look at the pelvis, which is the hip bone. And what we can do is either look at the ratio of the pelvis, or we can actually look at this center part here, the pelvic canal. If we look at that opening, it forms the shape of a circle, and that circular shape tells us that he's a male mammoth.
Baby mammoths lived in herds, just like modern elephants do, but male mammoths left the herd when they grew up to live by themselves.
Adolescent male mammoths are kicked out of their herds at about the age of 15, and from there they'll either roam solo or form bachelor herds that are really loosely organized together. So they may come to a site like ours when it was filled with water with vegetation around the ends and see that this would potentially be a great area to get water or food. Now, if they were still with the female herds, the older females may have seen other mammoths fall in before and recognize that this is a dangerous place and tell the herd to avoid it. But these younger male mammoths don't have that knowledge. They would come to the sinkhole, fall in, and drown. And we see this in our fossils over again and again and again over a period of 50,000 years.
Waco Mammoth National Monument includes the remains of at least 18 Columbian mammoths. Scientists are still studying what killed the mammoths of Waco, how they were buried and fossilized, and whether they all died at once or one by one over time. What we do know, though, is that almost all of the Waco mammoths were females.
I'm in Waco in the bone bed with Mammoth W, and you can see her pelvis nicely. And you'll notice that the opening here is an oval, unlike what we see in males, and this would have allowed her to give birth.
Unlike male mammoths, adult females lived in herds that helped and supported each other during hard times.
Mammoth J, our oldest female, was likely the matriarch of the herd. She would have directed the herd to food and water and modified the environment as needed. And her tusks would have been her biggest tool. And you can see that this tusk, her left tusk, is much shorter. But if you look at the very end of it, you'll notice that it's been worn smooth. So not only was she able to find success, but she actually continued to favor the tusk. And right now we don't know the cause of these issues, but it's likely that at the end of her life, Mammoth J relied on the safety and security of the herd.
When they were babies, male and female mammoths both lived similar lives in a herd. But it turns out they lived very different lives when they grew up. The males lived by themselves, while the females worked together to support each other and raise new baby mammoths. Piecing this story together took both mammoth sites, because even though they sound the same on the surface, each of these 2 sites tells a different half of the same story. Only by working together and putting these 2 sites side by side can researchers understand the secret lives of mammoths, whether male or female. How would you like to see Waco Mammoth National Monument and the mammoth site of Hot Springs, South Dakota work together next? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to both sites' social media so you don't miss a single mammoth moment.